Today, I wanted to talk about the obesity crisis here in America, and I wanted to talk about it from kind of like a different point of view. That view being from the perspective of someone who loves the person that is obese. And I'd like to talk about that because I dealt with that issue with my stepdad. Now, my stepdad, his childhood, he had been overweight, and I know that his mom wasn't very nice to him about it. And then he went in the Marines, he lost a ton of weight, got in great shape, but then, when he got out of the Marines, he met my mom, and they got married, and he started putting weight back on. And I know that she wasn't very nice to him about it either. So I'm sure that didn't help things. He didn't have that kind of support from his spouse. So I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying. But one thing I noticed about him was that he would always make fun of other people that were overweight or obese. And I could never understand why he did that. And to this day, maybe somebody can enlighten me why he did that. Um, because to this day, I don't understand why he would make fun of other people that were in the same situation as him. But regardless, he thought he was going to live forever. He thought he was fine because he would go to his annual doctor's appointments and the doctor would tell him he was healthy. And he would say, see, I'm healthy. And I'm like, yeah, you're healthy until you're not healthy, until it catches up with you, which it did. He was probably around 6'1", 6'2", and he got to be at least 400 pounds, if not a little bit more than 400 pounds. So he was indeed obese. And because he was so big, he would develop these diseases and disorders from complications from being so heavy. And one of those was you turn diabetic. And if you're diabetic, a lot of times it is very difficult to heal from certain wounds. Like it takes a while for a diabetic to heal from things. And he would get these sores on his legs, which is not uncommon for diabetics. And he would have to go to what they call a wound center to help try to fix him up, try to get it under control because it can get out of control really quick. And he was doing that until one time they could not fix the wound and he went septic. And from the sepsis and other weight-related issues that I'm not going to get into because it just would take me forever, so I'm just not going to go there. But he passed away, and I had so much resentfulness about this because I knew some of the habits that he had that were making him overweight that I felt were easy fixes at the time. He would get up in the middle of the night, snack, eat. He would stop off at a fast food place and have dinner before he had dinner at home. So he was having like 2 dinners and he just wasn't making healthy choices. And I felt all this resentfulness that turned into anger and almost like a rage of sorts because I felt like he just didn't love us enough to get healthy to stay with us. But it's not that easy. I know that he loved us a lot, and there's some things that are just very hard to overcome, and he had an addiction to food and he just couldn't overcome it. And because I felt those feelings, I then started to feel really guilty for having those feelings because when you have angry feelings towards someone that you care about and they pass, then you feel bad that you felt those feelings because they're no longer with us. So you don't want those feelings to be wrapped up in the person's image, right? You don't want to feel those angry feelings towards someone that you love and care about. So because I had those feelings, I felt extremely guilty later and still feel a little bit guilty about to this day. I just want to put that in the forefront of people's minds that I think that these feelings were natural sorts of feelings that probably lots of other people have felt. And that I just want people that are having these health issues because of the obesity, because of being overweight and stuff like that, just think about that side of things, that your family and friends are probably worried about you constantly. I was constantly worried about him. And that they may feel these types of resentful feelings when you pass. And I want people on the other side like me to realize that if you have these feelings, I think that they are a natural way to feel. I just want to put that out there just to get people's minds working around this epidemic and what kind of feelings people might be feeling and how difficult it can be to work through that. And therapy is a good thing. I'm in therapy right now for lots of different things, but I talk about that as well. So just something to think about. Love you guys. Bye.